Hello and welcome to the podcast. Jenny Townsend, your host. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm on the road again, actually in Croatia, and I'm visiting a friend of mine who I met a few years ago. She owns a music school, and we connected back in 2022, I believe, and we started talking shop, and then I was invited to go visit her in Italy, which I did. Went there for 10 days, had an amazing time. We were in the region of Puglia, and she loves to eat and drink, and so do I. So we're like a match made in heaven. And this week I have the pleasure of hanging out with her in Croatia, where she's living at the moment. Hello, and welcome to the Stroke It podcast. I'm Jenny Townsend, your host. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited for you to be inspired to live your life fully, to take ownership of your time, your schedule, and your life, but most importantly, learn and grow and develop personally and professionally. Myself and others are going to share life lessons that we've learned through leadership, through heartache, through pain, through struggles, and we'll be sharing some success stories with you as well. Super eager for you to dive in, learn, and grow, and once again, just take ownership of your life today. So we're going to spend a couple days near her house, and then we are currently on the coast of Croatia. We got a little Airbnb, and we're going to be exploring. We are talking a lot of shop as well, since she owned a music school for a very long time. There is a lot of insights and tools and advice that she can give me, and then we just love sharing the ideas and collaborating, and she's actually helping with Music Compound's SEO and website right now. So many things are changing when it comes to operating a business. We were joking about it on the drive here yesterday. I started my company 10 years ago, and I needed a website, and I needed Facebook. Then several years later, I needed Instagram. Then I needed TikTok. Now I had to completely revamp the website, and now it's live chat, live bots, AIs, and there's just so many things that we need to be able to cater to our current clients, for attracting new clients. And once again, it's about efficiency. So it's you've got to have some type of system built into your business that's operating 24/7 for the individuals that are up early or they're up late, wanting to book lessons or find out more about your company. So a lot of things that we've been talking about is systems, optimization, getting really clear on the messaging on each landing page or specific to each program. So anyways, this podcast today is not about all of that. I'm just giving you a little bit of insight where I'm in, what I'm doing as well. So actually today's podcast is all going to be about bucket filling. And this podcast was inspired because I am a volunteer for Embracing Our Differences, which is in Sarasota. And it's an amazing organization. They do a lot of education as well. And every single year they reach out to the community to find readers to go into the classroom and read books. And typically those books have a certain theme. And last year it was bucket filling. And I went to a local school, Fruitville Elementary, and read a book. And this year I'll be going to Tatum Ridge. And the whole bucket filling concept is all about filling up your bucket and then filling up others. So if you feel really great about yourself, you are being kind to yourself, and you're being loving to yourself, you are going to be a much happier person. And then what ends up happening is you start filling other people's buckets. You cannot fill somebody else's bucket if your bucket is empty, or you feel depleted, or you feel sad. And so these books that we're reading in the classroom are teaching children the importance of filling up their buckets into others. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because I feel like it's very much aligned with the whole Stroke It concept, my book as well. The whole first chapter of my book is all about you, yourself, really through self-awareness, self-discovery, catering to your needs, speaking out and telling people what your needs are. And once again, just taking care of yourself first and foremost. I have a family member of mine always struggled with depression and was very jealous of a lot of people. And because her bucket was so empty, she could never actually be happy for a lot of people as well. And I remember this one time I gained some weight. She's like, it makes me so happy that you've gained weight. I was like, that's so mean. Why would you even say that to me? And that's because her bucket was so empty and she was depleted. And I want to encourage everyone to fill up your bucket so that you can be kind, you can be loving, not only to yourself, but to others as well. So I did generate a bunch of notes and outline the podcast which is one of the things I want to do a better job of with season 4, is really outlining the concept, really having some key points that I want to make. Sometimes I have the outline. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just really passionate about this topic or this thought or, this concept. Let me just get on here and share that. So anyways, but I want to be very intentional with season 4. So once again, today I really, really want to talk about the benefits of filling buckets. And so when it comes to filling your own bucket, I really want to encourage you to start with kindness. And that starts with like positive inner chatter. So speaking to yourself in a way that you would want to speak to someone that you love. So like if you think about like how much love and how much the words mean when you say them, maybe to your children or to your spouse or to your parents, we want to make sure we're speaking that same way to ourselves. So whether it's in the morning, just, giving a couple minutes of gratitude, thinking of things that you do have, when you look in the mirror, smile at yourself. Sometimes we just want to like start looking at our faces and looking at all the imperfections. I want to encourage you to smile and say something kind, like I am beautiful or I am bright or, I like the hair color. Just be super, super kind to yourself and get in the habit of doing that. Once again, I talk a lot about the morning routine. So practicing gratitude in the morning, having a mindset of abundance. It's amazing when you have a mindset of abundance, what all happens.
Are you looking to enhance your relationship with yourself? If so, get the Stroke It Guide. My book is available on Amazon and on my website. Not only is my book going to help you with your personal journey with yourself, but it's also going to help you with the relationships of other stakeholders in your life. For instance, your spouse or partner, your employer, your employees, your friends, or your family members. And of course, because the title, there is a chapter for your pleasure, which is the last one, in the bedroom. The book offers lots of great tools and resources. There's a lot of great downloads, and it features many of my podcast guests, and they have thousands of downloads and resources that are worth a lot of money. So you're going to want to get my book today. You can buy that on Amazon or on my website, and you can change and take ownership of your life today with one simple click.
Also, one of the things that my husband and I do is we take a morning walk every single morning together. We hold hands, we connect. We can talk about the day, the birds, the sun, the clouds. It's so uplifting. So even if it's only 5 minutes, I want to encourage you to get outside. And maybe there's like a stop sign. You're like, I'm going to walk to the stop sign every single day. And then maybe like a week later, you'll go to the next stop sign. Or you'll do like the whole cul-de-sac, not just half the cul-de-sac. So making that special time for yourself and that commitment is going to be huge. Filling your body with healthy nutrition. So I love eating breakfast. I love drinking coffee. I make sure to do my breakfast, my protein, all my vitamins, all my supplements first. And then that way I can enjoy my cup of coffee. If I plan it properly and I get up early enough and I do all these things, in an order, like in this routine, then it allows me to have time to have that cup of coffee at home in a coffee cup, not on the road, which can be super uplifting as well, not to be rushed to work, allowing yourself that time. I've got a couple girlfriends. They get up 1 hour earlier before their kids. That way they have their time to decompress, get their breakfast, do their workout, do their walk, have their cup of coffee, so that way they are mentally prepared for when their kids are getting up. They're finding that they have more peace. They're not as much fighting or yelling at their children. They have more compassion. We're able to wake them up in a really, really happy mood to where they're filling up not only their cup, but their children's cup first thing in the morning. When it comes to filling up your partner's bucket, these are super, super important for connection. And I think a lot of times we get so busy doing all the things for everybody else that our partners in that relationship suffers because we don't make it a priority. We don't make time for each other. So that's one of the reasons why David and I really take that walk in the morning, because it's a time for us to connect when we're like completely fresh. And it also gives him time to speak and talk about his ideas and his desires. And it's a time for me to listen and not be the solutions advisor that I always want to be. So I would encourage you to do that. Also, when you're walking, grab your partner's hands. That connection, that physical touch is super, super important as well. Small thoughts and acts of kindness. So I was just with a gentleman like last week having a conversation about relationships and how we sometimes take our partners for granted. So if your partner does something that you really, really value or you really, really appreciate, I want to encourage you to make sure you say something. So we lived in our house for 2.5, 3 years. I do not know how to run that dishwasher. My husband jokes about this all the time. Like, I literally do not know how to turn this dishwasher on. I can load it, and technically I can unload it, but I don't. So every time he unloads the dishwasher or runs it, I'm always like, thanks for running the dishwasher. I really, really appreciate it. He does a lot of other things as well that I'm always wanting to make sure that I take the time to say thank you, even if it's so simple. And he does the same for me. So it's really encouraging for your partner to want to make you happy. And they know those little tiny gestures are important. So I want to encourage you to make sure to say thank you and let them know that you do appreciate that. Another way that you can fill up your partner's bucket too is by listening more. I think a lot of times we get caught up in the day-to-day, all the things that happened, and we want to share our day. But that's great that you want to share, but make sure you give your partner some time to share as well. And you listen with intention to understand, and you're present. For years, I spent time on the couch with my husband, but I was scrolling on the phone, I was staying busy, I was doing all these things. So I want to encourage you to be present. That's one way that you can fill up your partner's cup or their bucket as well. Filling up your team's bucket. So this is really, really important. So if you're in the workforce, whether you are a manager or a leader or a coworker, whatever it may be, it's really, really important to fill up our team members' cups, especially if you are a leader. Leaders are super impactful, and a lot of people desire like approval and compliments from their leader. So if you are a leader, I want to encourage you to give that acknowledgement and that encouragement. If someone has done something that you really, really appreciate or value, saying thank you or highlight them and give really, really specifics. You know, maybe you got the report done on time, you met deadline. Yeah, that you are being paid to do that, but acknowledging that they took the time to do it just reassures them that you do actually care about all of the work and the effort that they're doing. We use Slack. So I post on Slack to either the whole team in our teachers and staff channel, or I'll go to Fuel, which is, fuel your mind, body, and soul, or I'll put Music is Life channel. But I always put some words of encouragement, especially if I'm going to be traveling. I always want to put in there, hey, I just want to let you guys know I really, really appreciate all the work that you're doing. And I'll check into Slack. Not that I want to actually do any work, but I do add emojis like high fives, thumbs up, smiles, the pom-poms as well. So they know that even though I'm like not present, I'm still cheering them on and I'm taking note of all of their hard work and dedication. And because of their hard work and dedication and their loyalty to the company, I'm able to step back and I'm able to go do some of the things that I want to do. And I've desired and I've worked really hard to get here to do. And I think it's really, really important. If you are using Slack, if you are just using it straight for business, I want to encourage you to set up some other channels. So I used to have an Inspire channel, and that's where people could post podcasts, they could post memes, words of encouragement, different classes that they were taking, whether it's through yoga or self-development, teaching themselves music. And then the Fuel is basically like another channel similar to Inspire, but it is food-based as well. So different recipes, like mushroom coffees, things that like fuel the brain and fuel their energy. And sometimes I'll put some events in there as well. So utilize your Slack channel to engage your team. Something else that we do that I love is Wow Wednesday. So Wow Wednesday is where we select a team member and we acknowledge the impact they've had. And we have a suggestion box. So now like those posts that are happening are having like things that specific words or actions that someone else noticed or valued about that team member. And it's super simple. It's Wow Wednesday. And for the most part, our goal is to get through every single team member throughout the year. I mean, we do them every Wednesday. There's 52 weeks, so we only have 30 team members. So essentially, some people are going to get acknowledged more than once. So I think that's another way of like boosting the morale and boosting the culture and uniting your team and getting people to cheer on each other, which essentially fills each other's buckets. And the more united your team are and the better your culture is, your clients are going to feel that as well. They're going to feel that amazing experience, that positivity. I would say be specific as well. Like, this day with this student, loved this outcome. So try to be specific when you can't be. Another thing is acknowledging individuals. So like if I have a team member, I say, hey, how are you? And the response is a little bit off. I immediately, go to their studio. Hey, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I fill up your cup? They may be tired. They may be depleted. They may be struggling with something inside the studio or something outside the studio. So letting them know that I'm present and I genuinely care is a way, number one, a way to connect with them, but also to fill up their bucket. And if there's something that I can do to fill up their bucket a little bit more or encourage them, I'm going to do that too. I think reinforcing that I'm here to support you and I'm here to cheer you on is super impactful, and why we have such great retention when it comes to our teachers. And then also I put in here reinforce. So people don't always remember the task that you gave them, but they remember how you made them feel. So by acknowledging the win and the outcome, that's what they're going to remember, versus like the actual hard work or the late days or other things that maybe they didn't enjoy part of it, but they're going to remember like, oh yeah, that was really struggle and that was a really pain in the butt, but I feel this. It kind of reminds me of my rocks. So we've incorporated traction. Traction is my word for the year. And at first, when I came back from my 3-week trip with my husband for our anniversary, I came back and I was like, whoa, the company is struggling. There's not a lot of systems that we're following. There's no accountability. And I decided just to lean into the rocks, and I developed all these other systems for accountability. And at first, my team members were like, what's going on? Very hesitant. They were pushing back on a lot of it. And then they were rolling their eyes at me, and they just were not excited about this new accountability system that I implemented. Fast forward 3 weeks, one of them came to me and was like, oh, I actually really, really like this. I can actually see the progress I'm making. They were actually tracking their numbers, and they could see all of the hard work, how it was paying off and how it was contributing to not only their professional life, their personal life. They were actually feeling worthy. They were actually feeling like they were doing a great job because we were celebrating a lot of wins every single week, and we were making a lot of progress as well. So, and I'm about to do this with my events team. So I know I'm going to get some pushback and there's going to be some struggles there, but I do have faith that once they understand the benefits and they see how it's impacting them professionally, but then personally, there's going to be even more buy-in, and then everybody's going to be growing, which grow is our word for the year for the company. Okay, so that was really about teamwork in the workplace as well. But remember that you have to fill up your cup every single day in order for you to be able to do these things for others and feel happy. And you want it to be authentic. You don't want it to be fake. And really, it's just sharing kindness, showing love, and acknowledging. And I think we can do that on a regular basis. I think a lot of times we think it, but we don't say it. Or we're like, oh, I'm going to text so-and-so, and then we forget. Do it now. Do it right now while it's fresh in your mind, because you don't know what they're going through or how their morning started, and how hearing from you can be uplifting. And then that would encourage them to uplift and fill somebody else's bucket. It's a beautiful thing. So, okay, so friends and neighbors, kind of what I was just saying, sending kind texts, like thinking of you, checking in, acknowledging birthdays, milestones. We never know who needs their bucket filled today. A small effort can make a big difference. When you can't fill both buckets, right? So obviously we only have so many hours a day. We only have so much energy. And some days you may be able to fill up your bucket, but not others, and that's okay. When you have the energy, I would encourage you to fill up your bucket as much as you can. So that's why I always tell everyone, take an hour every single morning just for yourself. Fill your bucket up. And then start filling other people's. If you have the energy, time, and capacity, fill as many buckets as you can. Because there are going to be days that you cannot fill a bucket, not even your own. So I think it's a great way to build habits of contributing to other people and I try to do myself for sure every single day and somebody else every single day. Sometimes running a company, you have to fill a lot of people's buckets all the time. So think about that when you have a little bit of extra time or energy. Like, whose bucket can you fill? Who can you reach out to? Who can you send a message to? Who can you acknowledge? Who can you show love and kindness to? And it's not only going to fill up their bucket, but it's also going to fill up your bucket. It always feels good to give to others as well, with no expectation of receiving anything back. I think that's a key point of it. Let's see, what else did I want to make? Yeah, small gestures can make a big impact. So once again, I just want to reiterate to fill up your bucket and fill others. And so I want to ask you, how will you fill your bucket today? What's something that you can do for yourself? It's going to uplift your mood. It's going to make you feel worthy. It's going to put a smile on your face, and it's going to make you feel good. And then after that, I want you to think of somebody else's bucket you can fill. And I would say encourage parents to teach this to their children. So these bucket filler books are available. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon. And maybe this is a book you want to read to your family at the end of the night. Like, everybody read together so that all of your family members are understanding this bucket filling concept, to where when people start doing it, you can acknowledge, say, oh, that's right, I love that. And then, yeah, definitely share your stories, or, tag someone about the bucket filling, and with gratitude. Kindness is contagious, so I want to encourage you to spread it. And then I just want to kind of stay on the same theme of buckets and talk about your bucket list. I think it's important to have a bucket list. It's something you can dream about, like things that you want to do, places you want to go. And I would encourage you to dream really, really, really big, because you never know where you'll end up or who will come into your life and who will make that a reality. And I think everything is possible if we put our mind to it and we commit to it. I think a lot of times we make a lot of excuses. I don't have anyone to watch the kids. I don't have the money. Oh, I'm just going to never do that. And what ends up happening is that's a bunch of negative chatter. And those are a bunch of excuses, which is going to prevent you from actually living your life fully and going and living out that bucket list. So I want to encourage you to think of how you can start achieving it. And these are some questions that I wanted you to think about. What are a few things that you want to do in your lifetime? So maybe write them out, whether it's to start a business, it's to play an instrument, it's to travel overseas, it's to learn to sail, like whatever it is. I want you to write it down. There's so much proof and there's so much research about how likely you are to achieve it if you write it down. What are experiences, places, or goals you've been saving it for someday? Like, someday I'll get there. And I want to encourage you to avoid waiting. You may not always have the health, the energy, or the ability to do it later. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, if you've lost a loved one, or you know someone who has, they got to the end of their life and they didn't get to do all the things they wanted to do. And it was too late. Because number one, their health wasn't there. And most of it's going to be about the health. It could be about the funding as well. So many of them are living with regret. Oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this. Like, no one really remembers all the projects you did or how hard you worked. Well, I'm going to remember how hard my father worked. And I'm going to remember it is because he doesn't enjoy life. He doesn't spend quality time with people. He doesn't go on trips. He doesn't create the time for his spouse as well, where they can connect and go and have fun. It's only work. Don't make it all about work. I mean, that was my mindset for very many years. And then I truly, truly believe there will always be a way to make it happen, to fund it, take the time off, and find help with the kids. But there may not always be the time. Enlist your family members. So many of us want to spend time with your family members, your kids. Your kids could, connect with us. They could be having mentorship. They could be having connection. They could be having guidance from other people. And think about the humans that you're wanting to create. You want them to be exposed to a variety of different philosophies, and then it's for them to determine what their beliefs are or what they want to do as a career or what they want to do in their future. A quote from my dad, he always said this. I'd be like, oh, it's not going according to my plan. Oh, well, I'm planning for that. Or, yeah, I've got plans, but everything was about me having plans. And he would always say to me, life is what happens while you're making plans. So go and live the life that you want to live. Create that wish list and work towards achieving it. And Even if you only get a couple check marks or a couple things on that bucket list, at least it's something versus nothing. You don't want to be getting to the end of your life and have not traveled, have not experienced, and have not lived the life that you deserved. We only get one of them. So yeah, and I just want to remind you that filling your bucket isn't just about self-care. It's about living life fully, chasing joy, and saying yes to the life you dream of. So I hope this is encouraging. I hope you will fill up your bucket. I hope you will consider other buckets that you want to fill. And if you haven't got my book, I want to encourage you to get my book. It's all about filling up your bucket and others. And then also, if you do have a family, I want to encourage you to look online to get some of these bucket filler books. And there's several, like there's a bunch of different themes. So like, for instance, I'm reading to first graders, and it's all about the daily guide of filling up your bucket and others. And again, I just want to wish you a beautiful day. And if you haven't been to Croatia, I want to encourage you to put that on your bucket list. Everybody I told that I was coming to Croatia was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it really, truly is. And traveling overseas should not be something that you can't do. It's super easy to get a passport. You can get flights for $500. I mean, yes, you'll be sitting in a main cabin. Yes, you may have a couple detours or like a couple layovers, but it's like $500. And once you get here, it's really not that expensive. The food, the culture, you'll be so grateful. So don't think that overseas you can't do it, because it's very obtainable. Yes, you do have to take the time off, but most likely you have PTO. Most likely you can cut out some expenses like Starbucks, the gym, and other things that you're paying for every single month. Cut that off to begin saving money to be able to fund your trip overseas, or just in your own country, just somewhere that you wanted to go. The United States is beautiful. There's so much to see there, along with the Canadian Rockies. So if you haven't heard of Lake Louise, check that out. I'm going there next summer. I'm super, super excited about that. Anyways, I'm going to be going to fill up my cup today and Gabriella's. We've got an amazing day. We're going to go have some lunch on the water. I'm hoping to jump into the Adriatic Sea today. I'm sure it'll be really cold, but I'm hoping to do that. And yeah, just want to wish you a beautiful day, and thanks you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next podcast. Cheers.
Thank you for tuning into the Stroke It podcast. I hope you were inspired. I hope you're willing and ready to take some action. I want to encourage you to consider 5 people that could benefit from today's podcast. Super simple to share this episode. You never know who could benefit from hearing this podcast and how you could inspire them to create the change in the life that they're wanting. Cheers, and thank you so much for tuning in. Also, consider giving a